Okay, today we're gonna go over number 3 in the Tao Te Ching. It says if you overesteem great men, people will become powerless. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. The master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores, by weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. Okay, so the first part, if you overesteem great men, people become powerless. I think it's basically just trying to say, like, don't keep feeding into the ego and promoting people to get bigger and bigger heads. Like, basically don't encourage people towards narcissism, making people feel that they're superior over others just because they might be good at something, because then when you do that, the other people who aren't being put in that same esteem, then they're gonna feel kind of like they're worthless or powerless, or they just don't have as much self-esteem because you're putting this person as so important above these other people. And I think that all leaders should be careful not to do that. If you overvalue possessions, people begin to steal. This, I think, is one of the most common problems that we have out there. People putting too much value into possessions, and then it's just a lot of theft going on around out there. I just finished watching a video of, body cam video of like these police officers arresting somebody who was stealing at a mall, and she had like money with her too, like almost like $300 as well, but then she was still stealing. So even when she had money, she still wanted more. And it's just greed, when it comes to that point. And it's just not a person stealing from the store, but obviously, like wealthy people steal as well in different ways, as far as like white collar crime is concerned, and just basically cheating people out of their money or deceiving people. And it's like rich people steal, poor people steal. It's like when you put too much value into having things, then you're kind of encouraging this type of behavior. So really, it's almost like teaching people to just kind of be more modest with things and just kind of not to overvalue possessions, maybe to value, your life experiences more, or value things that, like nature, for example, where everybody could appreciate, like the sun, the moon, the stars, the lake, the forest, the weather, like valuing nature, and then everybody could appreciate that. But when you start valuing all these possessions and not everybody can have these types of possessions, then what it does is it kind of encourages others that don't have those things to steal. So the master leads by emptying people's minds and filling their cores. So what I'd say that means is, emptying the mind to me is like being in meditation, being in the present moment. So like encouraging people to be meditative, to be spiritual, to be like at peace, to have no thoughts, and then to filling their cores is just basically being healthy by eating healthy foods, making sure that you're nourished well. That really, if you think about it, what good does all this material stuff mean if we don't have our health? So valuing your health is extremely important, making sure that you're eating healthy, and to really improve upon your meditation. By weakening their ambition and toughening their resolve. So weakening their ambition is, once again, kind of like decreasing that ego rather than building that ego, and to constantly like striving after more and to achieve all these great things, to kind of just lessen the ego and to be more content, like with the simple life, and with simplicity, and really being content with this moment rather than living your life for the future. Live your life for this moment. And the ambition is basically stronger and stronger ego. So in my eyes, the teaching is basically saying to break away at that ego, to not make it stronger, but to destroy it. He helps people lose everything they know, everything they desire. So he helps people lose everything that they know. So once again, it's that whole teaching of like emptying your cup of tea, emptying your mind, freeing yourself of thoughts. There's a limitation to knowledge. And I think the Tao is talking about the limits of knowledge, and how you could reach no limitation when you get rid of knowledge. So really coming to the point where you take away all the knowledge. It's kind of like the same thing with the possessions. Like, people think that you should always have more, but there is a benefit of letting go of things and not being attached to things. So it's the same with your mind. It's like letting go of knowledge and not being like collecting all this knowledge and then being attached to that, but letting it go, freeing your mind, and just emptying your mind and being at peace, being in the moment. Lose everything they know, everything they desire. So same thing with the desires. The desires is of the mind. So if you could let go of the mind and you let go of the desire as well. And then it says, and creates confusion in those who think that they know. So this is gonna appear very confusing for people who don't follow the Tao. People that don't follow the Tao is pretty much the opposite, where they're just collecting all these things and they're attached to all these material possessions, and they're living in the future. They're striving. They're extremely ambitious. They're always striving after goals and worldwide like recognition and fame and success and unlimited money and all these things. And it's like they have all these desires and they value knowledge, so they just keep collecting all this knowledge. So this way of the Tao, which is almost the opposite of all that, it's going to confuse them. It's going to be really difficult for them to empty their mind when they're so used to having all these thoughts. And it's going to be very difficult for them to let go of things and not be attached when they're attached to everything. And the concept of having less knowledge and emptying your mind is going to be much more difficult for the person who is constantly like collecting knowledge. Practice not doing, and everything will fall into place. So not doing, to me, is saying practicing like being natural, being yourself, and just following basically the laws of nature, and everything will take care of itself. You don't let your mind get in the way of things. You put your mind aside and just let nature take its course. Just basically like go with the flow. And if you go with the flow, then everything will be okay.